everybody, and welcome to Grand Finals here for Season 6 CBA. I am your host, Clover, joined tonight by the amazing Porosaurus, and we are here to bring you games 1 through 4 out of 16. Poro, welcome. It's finals time.
It's finals time.
Finals
Time. And finally, look at that 16-team lobby, 64 joined. Everybody here tonight for the first games to kick off this finals. As he said, we are playing best of 16, and this is night 1. So if you're just joining us now, you came for the perfect time.
Yes, and I have been really, it's just been a pleasure to cast for all of the teams involved, not just the 16 here tonight. I've really learned to love them. This was my first CBA season, Poro. I don't believe this was your first season, correct?
I was here for finals last season, but missed out on the regular season. But we did get to see the finals, so kind of getting used to seeing some of these teams and some of these names. Haven't seen a whole lot of turnover, but the story so far of this season has been North Carolina State and LSU really just kind of separating themselves from everybody else. Now, there are teams, there's a handful of teams right below them who can kind of go off at any point, and that's where things start getting interesting for these finals, because you never know who's going to get hot at the right time. And I think we're all starting at a blank slate, right? So it could be anybody.
Yeah, we're all starting exactly 0 points. Some of these teams took a little while to get going. Maybe they had a couple of bad weeks. I know that spring break affected a couple people. And of course, we did have a handful of teams that were unfortunately affected by the coronavirus, as they either had to move home, and maybe home meant not being able to participate in CBA. But, what we have here is the 16 teams that really played their heart out this season. And like you said, it's anyone's game. NCSU and LSU absolutely dominated the regular season leaderboard, but just because they dominated that leaderboard doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to dominate here in the finals, especially since a lot of these teams are going to be playing together for the very first time this season, as they've been separated between the A and the B lobby. So it'll be really interesting as well to see how LSU and NCSU play now that they're in the same one.
Yeah, and then you add into the fact that, for the most part, we've kind of had short lobbies, 13-team lobbies for a while. So now we've got a full lobby, and as you said, a lot of these teams that may have never really played against each other before. We'll have to see how close things go. We've seen our first circle, first plane. It's going to be a pretty good barometer. Nothing too crazy out here, just a Western Miramar circle. And you can already see LSU has a lot of company right around them that I don't think they're used to having.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, LSU has oftentimes taken the more contested places. On Erangel, we always see them drop Pachinki. Here on Miramar, they love to go San Martin and Hacienda. Obviously, of course, now they've got company both around Hacienda and San Martin, just to the south. There's another team here in Minas. So LSU's going to have a harder time rotating from here on out, which, it's really maybe not necessarily a bad thing. LSU oftentimes will seek out kills. This is going to put a lot of people in their vicinity, but the important factor here is whether or not they're going to get caught off guard as those circles continue to move. And we can already see LSU getting in their vehicles and moving for a more centralized position because they're going to want to look to hold the zone future. So that said, we do have a lot of teams right outside of Los Leones. It looks like UNCC and RAT get a little bit close to one another. Maybe a couple compounds over, not an immediate threat, but depending on which way they make a move for the zone as well, we could see a fight here in the next few moments. Yeah,
that northern side of Los Leones definitely seeing a lot more action than I think they're used to. And you also have, Jay Good, Swagnar, the Grand Canyon University, in kind of a good spot to look out and maybe do a little bit of gatekeeping here if they happen to see anybody early. I'm not sure they will. Rochester, I think, might have an idea that somebody was ahead of them. You could see Iceman kind of making his way off to the north just a little bit. And then, yeah, I mean, there's just it's weird when you've had rotations that you've been able to use all season long, and now all of a sudden they may not really be there. So these teams are. I think for this game especially, we'll see teams being really, really careful, maybe a little bit slower on the move. Definitely want to make sure that you're scouting out where you're planning to go before you start making your way over there.
Now, I know that most of the teams did get a chance to play scrims last night, so it was kind of, at least for a lot of these players, a first chance to start testing some of the teams they may not be used to, figuring out drops, and it'll be interesting as well by the end of tonight to see how today compared to yesterday's scrims. Whether or not people just used it as target practice. Did they use it for, more on playing team versus team, which is what I think a lot of times scrims really should be used for, learning the map, learning the other teams, and not necessarily just target practice. But that said, as we continue to watch the rest of the teams rotate away from one another, I think right now the center of the zone, K-Pat, has spotted out It's Your Wi-Fi and Mellow Panda just outside Power Grid. And so these are two teams that might be at it. And it looks like Black Boleto, just to the west of that, has spotted out Sneak Attack. I almost didn't even realize right away that somebody from Marietta had pushed that far away, but he's actually going to get knocked down now as Nick and Sneak Attack spotted him out here and are going to get that flush.
Yeah, that'll be our first kill of the finals there from Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack, definitely one of those players that was turning things up in the final weeks there for his squad. It looks like Black Bullet was a little bit slow on the rotation. He might have been the last player there for Marietta. You can see the rest of them already in San Martin. I'm not sure what happened there, but in the end, he got caught out, got his tires shot out from underneath him, and in the end, he was just taken out there. As Pat actually going to land a long headshot there onto Wi-Fi. As you said, FSU and NC State kind of right on top of each other here in Power Grid, and then you look off just to the south, they have LSU. So kind of a little triumvirate of power here in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of an extension at K-Pat first to move that far off. I think maybe spotting FSU earlier while we weren't paying attention. But as we can see here, the rest of NCSU making that move now, as you can see names on the kill feed. And these teams are starting to get information of who it is that they're fighting with, who are they shooting. And FSU here, I mean, this is kind of one of my dark horses. I've absolutely enjoyed watching Florida State Garnet. They really flourished in their lobby during the regular season. They had a slow 1 or 2 weeks in the very beginning as they kind of tried to get everything kind of under their belt, I would say. Maybe they had new teams, but it seemed like once their communication just merged, they became really merciless. In fact, both Florida teams, I think, really stand a chance to win this season. It'd be something that I would really love to see them perform well as well. But
this is an aggressive push by UNCC. They pulling into the compounds that LSU is just now leaving, and they're actually super lucky that LSU decided to leave those compounds because they were getting ripped apart by NCSU. And now LSU, they're just going to be off to the side. It looks like another member of Marietta has been finished off as well. As Florida State's going to find one. So Marietta down to 2. Early game here.
Marietta is actually still surrounded. It looks like, I think we've gone through this many times, but it's going to be Diotati that is trying to get away, has been spotted. He's luckily found another car, but before he can give it off, he's already lost 2 tires here. And Florida State Gold is actually going to be the one to cause some fight here. But Rico Rodriguez here to help out his teammate from up above. I think he's coming now down with the bike to pick up his teammate, using those knocks as an opportunity here pick him up and make that run, but accidentally running over his own teammates. Oh, a little too eager to get on that bike, unfortunately. I'm throwing out one more smoke to make sure he's able to get this res off, as we can just watch FSU tirelessly shooting into the smoke, hoping to get that flush. Diona having to stop real quick to heal, but Florida State spreading wide. Gribbs is actually going to go for another wide rotation through this God building, hoping to spot Marietta. He should from this angle. but able to get on that motorcycle and drive away.
Yeah, kind of surprised Florida State Gold didn't push that more aggressively. They had the opportunity. They realized what was going on. They saw the solo player, and they just never really left their compound. Never pushed out any farther than they were feeling, I guess, safer in. And new circles pop. They're right on the northern side of this new circle. So they may end up having to move here in a little bit. We'll have to see what they decide to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of moving as well, we've got more of the northern teams starting to make their rotation as McMaster Maroon is getting up and ready to move on. UCF Black is close by. I think right now both teams instead focusing on the zone than one another, which is going to be good news for them because it is going to get very crowded up here in the north, whereas it already is looking to be that way in the south as GCU walking in on UCF Gold. I can see Swagnar Gumdrops taking shots towards Ox Johnson. As you did call earlier, looking for a way to gatekeep using that road, but it looks like most of the teams going around them, but Grand Canyon able to pick up 2 kills. Looks like Happy Feet was actually the one to do so.
Yeah, you can see RIT. They're making a long rotation around to the south. They've lost 2, so I'm guessing that's where those 2 kills came from. You can also see Dragon Legends apparently never got a vehicle, so is coming from way out of the blue. So this, if UCF is, if Dragon Legend can get out there in time and maybe find a cheeky angle, UCF Gold could turn this into something maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon's got plenty of meds. I did see a med kit and 5 first aids. Never say never, but I think for right now, UCF might be feeling a little bit pinned, too risky to get Dragons from this angle, but GCU's making a move, so who knows? I mean, now's the time to act, but it looks like UCF, I think, just trying to hold this angle a little bit longer, giving Dragon a chance to come in, as Nomad Wrath is going to take some shots towards GCU, but it's not going to be enough to do damage. Meanwhile, back up on the north, we've got action here between Mississippi State and McMaster Maroon.
Yeah, Mississippi State trying to come out of the blue, but they picked just kind of the worst compound to do it in. They were coming in a little bit late, and they end up running right on top of McMaster Maroon. You can see they've already lost 2. Nicholas NDB is wide out in the open here. He's going to land a nice shot onto Oblivion the Ace, though, but immediately going to get traded back by Bot, as now it's all up to Prodigal Knight. He's got 1 grenade. He's not going to find anything with it, and I think he's just going to pull off for right now. He's got a Murano that he can still get into and reposition if he decides to, but no, it looks like he's just... What is he doing? I think you got to take that Murano and maybe try to break line of sight here and try to stay alive a little bit longer for the boys.
There we go, and it is going to continue on that direction, taking in the blue for a little bit, but wanting to put some distance between him and McMaster Maroon, regrouping, but Oblivion the Ace, I thought might have been going for it. It looks like instead just going to continue looting the bodies, but Prodigal's also really struggling to control this. That vehicle is in moderate shape, low on gas, though.
It could be rough whenever he goes into San Martin.
Oh, and he's going to be driving right next to UCF Black, but stopping just short. He's not ready to give up this fight yet on McMaster Maroon. But, this is downhill. This is not in the zone. I don't really know what he's looking to accomplish from this angle. But now with that noise he's made with the Murado, he's going to have to be really careful because UCF is also kind of looking in this direction, wondering what is that? Where is that? And should we be concerned or not just yet, which is also going to make things a little bit difficult for Maroon as well, should they choose to push this on foot. But
it's also about to get a little weirder because Cal is rotating around through San Martin here.
All right.
A really, really long northern rotation here for Cal. I think they may have spotted out, or they may have been getting pinned down by Worcester Polytechnic and maybe getting a little bit too spooked by that, and they're running into a huge cluster here on the northeastern side of this circle.
Yeah, as Cal takes this hard left, it's going to put them very close to UCF. It looks like a little bit too much power behind the wheel as they spin out, but at least they continue this on, driving right into McMaster as well, and you said it. It's going to get very crowded here. As Prodigal Knight still on foot as well, hasn't able to find a vehicle. rest of McMaster still behind as well, and Cal driving right into Frodo. A little hesitation there. I'm not sure why Frodo didn't take that shot. Cal is going to make easy money of this as Zovran continuing to drive around looking for a place to put down. Cal oftentimes has been chasing the kills. We've really seen it from Mitchy Boy as well. Zovran has been a high killer for the squad as well, and as Maroon pulling up close to Frodo. I'm not quite sure what they're looking to pull off with this. Zovran is taking fire now from UCF, who's finally joined the fight here.
Yeah, this is just ants scattering once the trail has been broken. I mean, you can see Cal had no idea what to do once they started getting shot at from every direction. You can't really say you blame them. I mean, they did not know that they were going to be pushing into this much action up here, as it looks like Prodigal Knight has been spotted out by Mitchy Boy, and that's going to be Mississippi State going down first. But Cal, as you can see, very split up here. And look at this, now Marietta, the duo, coming up over the top to get shots into UCF Black. This thing is turning crazy in the Northeast.
Yeah, Mitchy Boy taking a lot of fire there from Cal, but it's actually Frodo that knocks down Kingdom Plays. He was just trying to help out Mitchy Boy. Magnum's going to have to drive off, but like you said, Marietta now stuck in combat here with UCF as Dio tries to help out Rico, returning the favor, but here, Yanta walking up here. There's no safe place to get this res off. I think Dio realizes it, as he's got no choice but to leave Rico behind, offering that kill up to Uklar to get that flush here. Oh, but Dio almost taking him down as well. 17 health.
I mean, Dia Diatati's just literally 1v4 UCF Black here. This is, yeah, done and dusted. Dia Diatati. This is a name that you're going to have to keep in your mouths. Keep in mind, remember this name, guys, because this guy is capable of pulling off some crazy, crazy plays for Marietta.
Now, while this was going on, unfortunately, Rochester was eliminated as well. And then back down in the southeast, looks like LSU has company as Happy Feet has been knocked down. Gumdrops, Jay Good trying to get that res off as the rest of LSU moving on. But WPI, who got that first knock, is still close by. And neither team in the zone, which means that the rest of LSU is going to have to get through WPI to get to the circle safely. Jay Good already drove off with one of the vehicles.
Yeah. I think you might have gotten your purples confused there. That's GCU.
Oh, GCU. Excuse me,
no problem.
LSU.
But hey,
yes.
Look, LSU has some problems too of their own. They're just on the southwestern side, kind of in the same boat here, as they have ASU, NC State, and Dakota Wesleyan that are all kind of right on top of each other here on the southwestern side. You can see LSU trying to make their way in, playing the terrain, but it's going to be a little bit rough sledding. They could probably get in circle okay, as long as ASU doesn't try to push out a little bit harder here.
Mm-hmm. Now, also, it looks as though the NCSU might be in LSU's line of sight. I could see Beast taking looks in this direction. I think this is the compound that LSU is eyeing to make the push in the zone. It is at the top of the hills. It's a good place to put. But back again on the other side, we've just got so many teams in combat with one another that it looks like Cal Esports is just pinned down in every direction up there in the Northeast.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of trouble. They are getting shot at from McMaster Maroon, although they're giving back just as good as they're receiving. But Florida State Gold also taking shots at them from this compound that they're holding on the north side. Haven't really seen them make a move just yet, but McMaster Maroon, for being 4 up, Cal is just sending a lot of bullets into them, and McMaster really hasn't been able to do a whole lot. You can see they're really pinned down. They're all low health. They've got the smokes out. It looks like they should be able to reposition here, though. I'm not sure what Cal is going to be able to do once this next circle pops, though.
Yeah, I mean, Zovran and Magnum, it's definitely a scary combo. And, Dio has been found by Jay Good, so Marietta is going to fall out. But, with Cal, they do have a vehicle, both of them. In fact, it looks like Magnum's already making the call that they're ready to push. Zovran waiting for that last second to get into his buggy to follow down. And Cal looking now for that next zone rotation. Zovran's just waiting to see where that circle pops. But I think Magnum's like, you know what? Let's just get shot at, figure out where the rest of the teams are. We know he's nearby, and I mean, it's going to pay off because Magnum's already found a happy, safe spot in that next zone.
Yep. and Zovern has a buggy for himself, so he can kind of stay here as long as he needs to take shots over towards Florida State or whomever, really. McMaster Maroon, you can see is kind of wrapping around because they're in a little bit of trouble. You can see the new circles favoring Florida State in that compound yet again, but look at the south side. This is all starting to pop off.
Yeah, GCU getting a number of knocks here as UCF continuing to pick on WPI. Only Gideon is still standing. Nomad Wrath is close, waiting for it. Nades are thrown, trying to get the finish on the flush, but I think GCU might be trying to steal this last kill as Jay Good going to take him down, but still hasn't spotted Nomad Wrath just yet. See him as he makes his push. The rest of WPI, Gideon trying to drive to safety, but gumdrops Nomad. It's not looking great for Nomad here. 3v1. Nomad Wrath.
Working that smoke pretty well, though.
Ooh, there he goes. Spotted gumdrops, but Jagood is going to spot him first. And UCF Gold goes down in 12th place.
And there you go. Give Grand Canyon the 6-piece and the biscuit. They're looking really nice coming here off this south side. You know who's not looking nice right now is UNCC. They are struggling here against NC State. They're finding kind of finding places, ways to get in here. Plows has gone down. Deadbuster has gone down. Overrated jumps, trying to make his way in. He looks like he just made it.
Nope. We tried so hard. He got so far, but at the end, it didn't even matter as he put his weapons away, tried to pick up as much speed, but NCSU had the high ground, they had the cover, and they had the right angle here on UNCC, making that a really difficult rotation that unfortunately just did not pay off. But just beyond that, now LSU and ASU pushing into one another. So just 2 members left of ASU. Arizona is going to be Fear to Fork and Zez Games. We're just going for it.
And here comes NC State. They're going to be flushing out the kills, taking those away as they also find ASU from range. I think that was actually DW. Dakota Wesleyan found that one.
Here comes Sneak Attack. I mean, once again, leading the vanguard for his squad, pushing on up. Very, very quiet, but I mean, this is playing well here by Dakota. As meanwhile, it looks like Zovren was found out. Cal Esports is going to fall, but this blue zone is still moving. LSU's got nowhere to go. Oh, there goes ASU.
Yeah, LSU is just kind of a matter of time here.
Oh, NCSU pushing right up onto this fight is going to take out LSU, but Dakota's already here. And I don't know if NCSU is quite ready for a 4-stack, but Winlow's going to get that first knock onto Matt Starrett. It's always Matt that goes down first.
Well, apparently they're feeling pretty froggy here as you can see Nick try to peek up over the top with the mini. I think he got a little bit distracted by Gideon Jura. Yeah, that's going to be DWU losing 1 there. But NC State is on a run right now, man. Winlow going to find Gideon, but he's going to be traded out. Good shots coming out from him. You can see, though, already NC State 8 kills. This is a reason why they are your #1 team from the regular season. Probably one of your favorites. Definitely got to be one of your favorites going in to these finals.
Yeah, now as we take another quick look. We can see there's actually action in every corner, but back up to the north. What's left of McMaster Maroon has found Florida State Gold. Bot is going to go down, and Frodo, I think Frodo's going to hold on to this a little bit longer. Maroon has been poking at Florida State Gold the last couple of phases now. Frodo has been spotted. Ooh. Can he get that knock? He will. 1 down. Oh.
Got the flush, too.
Picking up that 1 point, but unfortunately just not able to get that full wipe on the rest of Florida, who's now just down to 2.
Yeah, 2 for gold. You can see Garnet, though, they're starting to get a little bit in trouble here on the south side of this power grid compound. It's Your Wi-Fi is all by himself against Happy Feet and Gumdrop Buttons. Only 1 kill for Garnet so far. They've gotten this circle favor, but they just haven't really gotten any points to go along with it. And now It's Your Wi-Fi has gone down to Happy Feet, and GCU looking real nice.
Yeah, you've got to wonder what was going on with Florida State here. Twiggies and Mello didn't even make a move to lend a hand in that fight, letting GCU just take down It's Your Wi-Fi. They will have the rest of the compound just to the northeast side of this circle, and right now I think GCU is focused here on NCSU, who's down to now 2 players.
Yeah, NC State, I mean, they've got a really nice ridge line to work with here, so they don't need to be too scared just yet. Oh, Dakota Wesleyan gonna find out the rest of Florida State gold. They're up to 6 kills for themselves as well. GCU has 9. I believe NCSU has 8. So we're looking at a couple of real big kill grabbers here in game number 1. And then you got Florida State Garnet. They've gotten circle favor. They just haven't gotten any additional points to go along with it.
Yeah, and if there's anything that we really learned this season is that kills really matter for points. But before we had more teams that I would say were a little more passive, maybe were easier to give up kills, and so some of these teams would really push for it, play a little bit more aggro. Now what we have, their top 16 teams here going into the finals, these are our aggro squads. These are our high kill squads. And so farming points isn't going to be as easy as it might have been in that regular season, but at the same time, as we're already seeing today, the teams that are making it into the final are the ones that have really been chasing those kills as well. As you said, 8 kills, 9 kills. And so, Florida State, Garnet, that only has 1 kill right now for this game. Placement points would be really good, but they're going to need to make sure that since there's only 16 games, that they're getting as many kill points as they can.
Exactly, but that is why we play 16, right? Just in case you have that first really bad game or, a game that you wish you could have gotten a little bit more off of, you have 15 more to try to make up for that. As GCU, I think they finally heard Florida State Garnet moving back behind them as Gumdrop Button is looking. Spots out Mellow Panda, gets 1 bullet in, but that's going to be it. Now they're going to try to trade it back here. Not sure where Happy Feet can't really provide any support.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State really is going to have to push through GCU here if they want to move on from this spot in the zone. But NCSU walking right up behind Happy Feet. I think Twitch might be able to end their day here as Gumdrops is going to get taken out. And Happy Feet hasn't quite figured out that NCSU is right below him. Crawfresh, I don't think spotted him at all, but he was right on the ridge line. Mellow Panda's really going to be able to push into the zone from here. Now focusing on GWU, but again, Happy Feet's right here.
Yeah, this is huge. Happy Feet's going to find one. Can he find the second? Yes.
Oh! No!
Oh, the fence.
Almost getting that flush. Twiggies is low on health, but Mellow Panda is safe behind a ridgeline. Smoke is out. FSU should have time enough to pop off this res. And we have our top 3 teams for game 1.
Ooh, the good news for FSU right now is that NC State and Dakota Wesleyan are going back and forth here. Dakota Wesleyan has not been able to finish off NC State at all. I don't know if I guess they just don't have any grenades, no Molotovs, no utility whatsoever. And it's taken them a little bit too long to finish this off. So Florida State is able to get that res, get the heal up. There goes Dakota Wesleyan. They're going to find that one. But can Florida State now get involved from range?
Twiggy Smalls does have the high ground here. Oof. But he's going to get hit once by Nick as Florida State, I think, is going to hold up here as long as they can. But we're already seeing a widespread now from Dakota Wesleyan. I've done the numbers. All 5 players know where all 5 players are. This is Phase 8. Dakota Wesleyan has the circle. And if FSU can't clean this out, Nick has the final spot for Phase 9. So it's really going to be reliant here on Florida State to get through Dakota Wesleyan if they want to get to that final zone and rack up a couple more kills as well.
Twiggy Smalls needs to be looking for the wrap here from Fry. I'm a little bit worried that he's just kind of staying scoped in so much here. He might miss the flank coming in from the side. Actually, Sneak Attack's just going to get the down as Mellow Panda now having to work from behind this rock. And
there's Fry.
Asking a lot.
Mellow Panda now realizing that Dakota Wesleyan has done just that, wrapped around, strapped from every angle, but it is going to be Sneak Attack that gets that final hit. And Dakota Wesleyan taking victory in our first game here, Miramar with 10 kills. Congratulations, Dakota Wesleyan.
Big game number 1 for Dakota Wesleyan, and you can't say that this is a dark horse team. They finished 4th place overall during the regular season and at times looked absolutely unbeatable. And they come in here swinging big boy punches here in game number 1 on Miramar.
I absolutely could not agree more. Dakota Wesleyan started out really strong for Lobby B, had a couple of lull weeks, and then finished out strong. Like you said, coming back up into fourth place for the regular season. I think that, they have a really big chance to take it here, especially if they can continue to play like we just saw on this first match. Now, of course, Sandhawk is a really weak map for a lot of these teams. It's such a different game style of PUBG. That said, it'll be really interesting to see how all these teams do going into Sandhawk, and then of course we'll finish out the night on Erangel, which should be everybody's good map, I would hope. But any predictions going into Sandhawk? Anything you'd like to see?
I don't know. I just want to see teams realize and utilize Sandhawk for what it is, which is a nice reset map. If you had a bad game, game number 1 here on Miramar, just throw it all to the wind, throw caution to the wind here on Sandhawk. Try to go out there and hunt down those kills, get as many points as you can. If you can leave Sandhawk with 5 or 6 points, you got to be happy.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, with that, we're going to go to a quick intermission, and we'll be back more with some PUBG esports. All right, guys, and we're back. And as you can see, we are here on Sandhawk. I'm your host, Clover, and I'm joined again tonight by Porosaurus as we watch all 16 top teams here from our Season 6 leaderboard and see how well they can do. They've got 15 games left now to show their stuff as we just left Game 1 on Miramar with Dakota Wesleyan taking victory. Poro, are you excited for Game number 2 here on Sandhawk?
I'm very excited. I'm turning around on Sandhawk. I'm starting to enjoy watching games on this a little bit more. I know everybody hates it, and I know it's like the hot thing to do is to can't stand Sandhawk and we'd rather have Vikendi, blah blah blah. I get it. I understand. It sucks to play, but it's starting to get to be funner to watch, or more. Not funner. That's not even. Isn't even a word. I don't think that's a word. More fun to watch here, at least for a caster. And look at this. Actually, I don't know if we're looking at the map, but LSU, there's a big old chunk of teams there. You got UCF Gold, you got Mississippi State, you got WPI, you've got LSU, and FSU is already going to lose one.
Ooh, and it looks like Span Cargo is going to have company as LSU has chosen her compound, but you are right. FSU has already gotten a knock there. Let's go ahead and or lost a player, I should say. It's gonna be Polaroid. So, Marietta close by, but I think, as you know, there's a lot of contesting, a lot of rotations, and there's less downtime on Sandhawk. You know, this is a much shorter game. On average, a Sandhawk game is only 25 minutes, which means these teams have to work a little bit harder. Oof, FSU. This 2-2 split is not working well in their favor as Gribbs is going to be left behind by Fishy. And Fishy's just running right into UCF. There's no safety here. 1 HP here for Fishy.
Nothing really working out for FSU right now. Looks like they're gonna lose all three, and they do still have Daddy Rob off in the distance. Gribbles will get punched out. As Fishy still running here, the only hope he might have is if UCF decides to come out here and maybe look up the hill and take a few shots at GCU and force them to pull off. And actually, GCU is going to pull off. So Fishy gonna survive to fight another day, assuming he doesn't, get bitten by a mosquito as he runs to this compound.
Yes. Now, prior, I think you and I have had conversations about Sandhawk and your theory about people landing to the north. Now, this is a northern compound that looks like we're going to have an Alpha Island finish, perhaps even the mountain that right now we're seeing Dakota Wesleyan occupy. Looking at our northern teams and looking at who's to the far south, NCSU taking their normal southeastern drop here on Sandhawk. You know what? There's some good possibilities here, but Dakota Wesleyan already crashing into the other Florida State University. That's going to be Florida State Garnet, Mixter, and Twiggies now joining a building here with Fry. I don't know if they even heard Fry drive up or if Fry is aware of the fact that there's people in this compound.
Yeah, this is really spooky, scary times here for Dakota Wesleyan because they are actually in perfect position with the other two players, Sneak Attack and Nick, up on top of the mountain for this circle. When it does go over to this Alpha Island, to this northwestern island, oh no, Matt Sterrett. Oh, goodbye.
I mean, my caster cursed it that I said Matt is always the first to die. He's the Kenny of Dakota Wesleyan. It's okay, Matt. Dear. Matt actually is a really fantastic player. It's just unfortunate that he was found out first as Fry pulling back, and it looks like from all the way across the river. Mellow Panda nowhere near the rest of his teammates, but Fry is going to go ahead and jump into that Roni and try to rejoin the rest of his mates, putting some distance between him and the rest of Florida State. But Mellow Panda, nice 4x on that QBU, but it's not enough to take Fry out as he is going to get away.
It still sucks though for Dakota because they had the high ground. They had on circles that look like they might be favoring the northwestern island, you always want to take that high ground spot, and they had it, and they had to end up giving it up now because of losing that one player, because this is such a hard position to hold with just 3. You kind of need 4 in order to hold it. So now DWU gonna give that up, have to pull back down to these to the compound just over just to the foot of the mountain. We'll have to see where the next circle decides to go. I mean, it's still possible that this thing could cut over to the east or to the south even, and cut out that mountaintop. But I don't know, man. It's not. It doesn't seem very likely.
Yeah, no, I mean, in the past, whenever Santa Hawk has come to this island, oftentimes you see people take that very top compound. Cal Esports is already making an aggressive push onto the Alpha Island, and that is a place that Cal likes to occupy. So as Cal starts to push in and locating Dakota Wesleyan and Florida State, you have to wonder if this is going to be a fight for contention here between these two teams, or these three teams, I should really say.
Speaking of three teams, look at Northwest.
Oh, no. Marietta.
Rico. Oh, Rico is the scout. This is what happened to Marietta last game. Fortunately for Rico, he's going to get through. But yeah, LSU, WPI kind of positioning around each other here, looking like they might have been squaring up to fight. But now Marietta, they're still coming through. Toddy.
Marietta, I mean, has really been taking some risky rotations so far tonight, but Dio gets very close to WPI. Meanwhile, I think maybe they can pull it off. WPI, not quite ready to take these shots. It looks like maybe Gideon, but Gideon was so focused on getting to the road, he missed out an opportunity to shoot at the remainder of Marietta, and they're going to rotate safely, at least for now, as it looks like they're aiming for Cal.
That is fortunate for Marietta as they continue their wraparound to that northern side. And while that was all going on, LSU took that opportunity to make their way into Paradise, make their way into Circle, the Paradise Resort, rather. And WPI now looks like they're going to have to kind of figure out how they want to approach this next circle here. We also have NC State. Looks like they hopped in boats. You noted that they were doing kind of a split loot situation down towards the south, on the south of the Eastern Island and on Charlie Island. And now it looks like they've opted to go into boats, with the exception of Regimes, who is on land looking around. Ooh. And yeah, we are going to go over to this Western Island.
Yeah, Marion, as that circle does pop up, we continue to see that most teams now have figured out where to go. Mitchie Boy is going to get a knock on It's Your Wi-Fi, and Cal right now is going to be trapped inside this compound, I think, until they can take out one or more of these squads. I know that right now they've got to be itching to get to the top of the mountain, but that's going to mean taking out more enemies. And that's also going to open up an opportunity for UNCC, who is working their way up there right now, but working your way up there when there's no enemies nearby means not racking up kills. So do you go for kills or do you go for placement? That's got to be the question going through some of these teams' mind right now.
On this circle, I think 100% you got to go for placement, and UNCC is probably just pinching themselves over their luck that they've managed to come up. I mean, that's why they're taking such a long time to get up here. They're expecting there to be a team here, and they're finding no one. So they're very, very fortunate to get that position, that strong position that DWU ended up having to give up on, basically because of their lost player. But like you said, Cal, they got the down over onto FSU, but no push coming out. They couldn't really afford to, as you've got so many teams kind of posted up right around each other right here. FSU looks like they're going to just leave, use this opportunity to make their way uphill, try to find a little bit better position. Meanwhile, what else we got going on? Oh, look at this. LSU, UCF, and RIT all fighting it out here on the west or eastern side, rather.
Yeah, Hershey's going to get a knock onto Ox Johnson, but Soup, by the way, who's already going for that flush, I think is about to be surprised, is Span Cargo and Nomad Wrath, who are just below him at this ridgeline. Span Cargo could maybe spot out Soup, by the way, here, but Soup, by the way, also, needs to be worried about LSU. I don't know if RIT has read the situation yet to realize that this is two squads and not one. And sometimes, you see that final down, that message, okay, I've got the final kill, let your guard down, start looting, and that's going to give an opportunity for that remainder team to do some damage here. But Soup, by the way, still focused on UCF gold, as LSU is taking that long rotation right now through Tapmock. I think they want the high ground of the hill, but they want to take it in a little further north.
Yeah, I think LSU reading that situation correctly. They saw the down get flushed out, so they realized that it is two squads. RIT and UCF, but they also realized that they can't just continue pushing the way they were going. So instead, realizing that there's 2 teams there, they're going to do that wrap around to the north side, maybe get an angle here onto Soup, by the way. If they, I mean, I don't think they're expecting him to be there. I don't know if he was spotted out or not, but this is definitely the safest wrap to take here. Because you know that your north side will be protected and you've got the blue behind you. So worst case scenario, you just kind of hope that maybe you can make your way over to that northwestern island after finishing off this fight.
Yeah, and LSU, of course, should be able to get across the water without any contention. There's no one in Hot 10, no one in the docks, but back in the Southwest, NCSU was able to get in the zone. Regime's almost in, as it looks like, taking that last-minute boat, but unfortunately for Florida State Gold, a little bit of struggle here. It looks like Daddy Rob is just going to be hiding, waiting for that last opportunity to move. I'm not sure if he's just hear him being quiet, or maybe he did crash out, but NCSU is going to continue to make that push just to get the flush here for the rest of Florida State. But I think right now the main focus as well is where's this zone going to go as we start to see more and more teams push their way up the mountain.
Yeah, this is going to get weird. You've got Cal has finally left their compound. They're avoiding the line of sight of DWU, which is going to push them, I think, right into Arizona State. Actually, no, Cal actually cutting up and coming right on top of DWU. So
yeah, DWU is
just kind of
focused on Arizona right now, so this is the perfect time for Cal to make that push.
Yeah, Dakota Wesleyan losing track of Cal, not seeing them leave their compound, and now they are getting hard pushed here. Sneak attack. It's going to be tough for him to finish this one.
Yeah, Zovran and Mitchie Boy making that first push here onto Dakota Wesleyan's compound, blowing out the door. There's nowhere for Sneak and Nick to go. Mitchie Boy's going to get knocked down. Zovran opening the door to get that flush off. Not yet getting that res onto Mitchie Boy, waiting until it's fully safe. And nades are out. Kingdom Plate's trying to come to make a join, but here comes Fry.
Yeah, it was a good pre-nade from Fry. Didn't manage to get Mitchie Boy, though, unfortunately. So now Nick going to try to come in here and wrap as well. See if he can maybe spot something.
Nick without a helmet as well, so he does need to be careful. But Kingdom Plays is going to go down for Cal Esports. Nick falling as well, not having that nade. It's going to result in a headshot with an M249 there by Zovran, but Fry, I think, reading the situation, realizing that I've got to get the res off now. I really need 2 people in this fight. It's 2v2. Zovran and Mitchie Boy are still standing, and they're going to have enough time to boost their meds up as well. Fry and Nick, I think they're just going to go for it.
Yeah, this is tough sledding here for DWU, as it looks like they've managed to find a spot where they can try to get a heal off. Mitchie Boy and Zovran just holding the line. As you can see, there's a lot of fighting going on all over the place. LSU getting eliminated by Marietta. That is another big team going down. LSU going down in 16th is awful. WPI also going out.
WPI we found out as well. Looks like Arizona doing a number on the Mississippi State. We're seeing rotations from so many similar teams. We're going to follow this Cal Esports and DW just a little bit longer. There's only one member up still for Dakota Wesleyan. Mitchie Boy falling down. Fry now with 18 HP. All he's left to do is to get through Zovran. Down to 1, but Zovran is going to find him out. Needing to throw that quick smoke out to get the res onto Mitchie Boy and keep them 2 players strong. Cal Esports losing a lot, but staying alive as we go back down south. MSU trying and struggling to make that push here onto ASU as Arizona, I think, took out both Nicholas and Pavlichenko. Prodigal Knight is not going to be able to get JT&T, who's going to fall, I think, instead to the zone here.
This is such a hard push for MSU to push uphill with Arizona State kind of spreading out, just peeking over the top of the hill. They can reposition so easily and peek you from different angles from this position that they're holding. Prodigal Knight now going to have to figure out how he wants to get in here. ASU cannot forget about him, though. They have to make sure they clear him out here eventually.
No, and I think the circle popping actually just helping out Prodigal Knight is, for once, it is not going to hold on to the mountain, and the circle is actually making a further push west, and that might lend a hand here because all the teams that have worked really hard to get this high ground are now going to have to start making a move down because the circle looks like it's centered just outside of Alpha.
Yeah, and RIT actually losing one to blue here. I'm not sure what happened there to Iceman, but Cal gonna spot out Swagner a little here. Happy Feet still in blue as well, so Cal picking up another kill there as the duo. You can see Florida State Garnet has made their way up to the top. They've been trading back and forth with UNCC. They gotta be thinking that the helmets and armor are probably looking pretty rough right now. But you gotta say McMaster Maroon in a great position. They just have to make sure that Bot doesn't get caught out here by being in Camp Alpha by himself when you see Marietta and NC State both looking to take it.
Yeah, and NC State already making that push. Crawfresh already starting to scout out this area. Bot just looks like he is comfy, hiding in a corner, waiting for the zone. And seeing where he needs to push from here. He's on the corner of Alpha. There's opportunities to leave in multiple directions, but that also means going through all of the nearby teams. Taking another quick look at the map, you just see the placement. I mean, there's very few areas that are safe right now. And as Cal Esports tries to make that push, it looks like they have been spotted out by Florida State Garnet, but Happy Feet is somehow still alive. He's got no more meds left. I think this is it for Grand Canyon, unfortunately, as he's now down to 5 HP. And there he goes.
Well, it was a worthy effort there from Happy Feet. Tried to make it a little bit longer. Was not meant to be, as Cal has found the foot of the mountain. They can get a little bit of defense here from UNCC. But Florida State, UNCC, this should be popping off here soon, as McMaster Maroon looks like they're going to finally get pushed on here by Rhode Island, or not Rhode Island, RIT, Rochester.
There we go. And Rubies with a nice knock there on Oblivion. The ace getting the flush. Lemons is still down as Frodo peeked with no health. It's going to be easy, and that's 3 down now for Rubies. She can get the flush for the rest of her squad, but also has to be careful. Looks like she's just been spotted out by Marietta.
Yeah, this all these kills now belong to Rubies. You can see the only player left for McMaster Maroon is Bot, who's inside Camp Alpha, so these reses aren't going to come out. As you can see, the Mississippi State now getting taken out by Arizona State on the south side.
Prodigal Knight.
They found out Prodigal Knight, but UNCC is getting dismantled by Cal. Zovrin and Platis, the only two remaining here, as FSU is kind of start coming into this party a little bit late. They might be able to find Plowis, but oh my God, Zovrin.
Oh, he's on fire.
He's on fire.
Literally, metaphorically, Zovrin is on fire, but Cal Esports is still in the game, and they're in it to win it. I mean, I think all teams really are, but look at this Zovrin with that M249 mowing down what's left of FSU.
Yeah, FSU, actually, they finally came up over the top. Plowis was able to get one down onto Melopanda. The shots coming out from Zovrin were enough to confuse for a little bit, but not long enough. As Florida State, you can see, look at this. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it's your Wi-Fi has found a spot.
Oh, Twiggy was able to get down, landed with 39 HP, but now that the blue is doing the rest, Florida State's struggling. They've got to do it one more time. I don't think they've realized pushing up to this rock face that it's still not in the zone. We said a moment ago that the best thing you can do is to try and stay ahead, get ahead of it. And if it's your Wi-Fi can survive this fall, he might have to pick up the rest of his teammates who may just have to jump down. Look at Zovrin.
If Zovrin can come around here at the right time, he's got that bullet hose, that M249. Melopanda's going to go down to zone. Look at him. He's coming around the top. He might be on the spot.
He spotted them.
Oh, good shots by Wi-Fi.
Great headshot. Unfortunately for Zovrin, Cal Esports is going to fall in 8th place. As we can see now, the circle is half on Alpha, coming off entirely on the mountain. And NCSU, who played the West for a really long time, I mean, they read this well. Only 2 kills for this game with 17 players left alive. That's going to be still plenty of chances to get some more on the board here. But as they sit in the center of a zone, there's nothing else they can really do here except wait for people to come to them.
Well, yeah, NCSU getting extremely fortunate. I mean, they started off looting in the south part of the eastern island, and they take boats and get here so late that they were able to take Camp Alpha, because everybody kind of assuming that this one is going mountaintop, because that's just kind of what it does traditionally. So NCSU was able to make their way in from the coastline, take this spot that has now become dead center circle, and they might not have a lot of kills yet, but they're still 16 alive. And they have plenty of kills that they can try to get here.
Yeah, Crawfresh
Everybody has to make their way in.
finally making that move away from the Alpha Island. I think this is the right read for sure. It is not going to be an Alpha for much longer. Bot, meanwhile, is still surrounded by Marietta. And we can see that some of the teams that took a little too long to rotate out are going to be struggling now as Daddy Rob has to take out the rest of Florida State. And Migster making that push is going to find Daddy. That's it for gold. As Marietta is going to take them out. Sister school action. Here's where I guess sister squad. Same school, sister squad. As now Migster realizing along with it's your Wi-Fi, there's nowhere left to go. But down and down is death. ASU is going to be right in front of this, but it's your Wi-Fi managed to survive that fall. But unfortunately, the zone is going to do the rest here. And NCSU, there we go. Kills popping off as Fear to Fork has been found, and Arizona State is going to be eliminated into 6th place.
Oh, I love this wrap by UCF Black here. Uckler and Bonsgard bringing up the rear. Yanta and Ogie have the high ground here. They're going to be taking some shots. They're going to find Rico Rodriguez, and that's going to be Marietta losing 1. They're down to just 1 as Twiggy Smalls does get spotted out by NCSU. So I feel like it's going to come down to the 4v4 here, but the circle once again favoring NC State. And this is going to be rough sledding here for UCF. I'm not sure if they have enough utility, enough smokes, whatever they need to push here onto NCSU.
Oh, and Bot finally found out by Marietta's. Yanta stayed in the blue a little bit too long for UCF. Was going to take a lot of damage here. And with 9 players left alive, 5 of them are the enemies for NCSU, but Regimes is going to go down by Bonsgard. Headshot there with a car at 98.
Good shots coming out of Bonsgard to open that thing up, and Winlow gets taken very low, but Ucklar and Bonsgard are going to have to slow down here a little bit to get the heel off. Bonsgard should get it. He's going to find Winlow as well with the Vector, and now Regimes does get revived, but they are getting hard pushed here, and you've got to keep in mind OG from the outside. He's going to get taken out by Trovamoy from Marietta, and that is huge for NC State.
Oh, and there goes Trevor. Marietta's going to fall. There's just 2 teams still standing at Yanta, trying to continue to make that push onto Ucklar. And it is Regimes back up, fully healed, and watching the door, waiting for that push. NC State's got nowhere left to go except hold this compound from UCF, but Bonsgard and Ucklar on a mission. And just nasty rotation here from UCF Black. I think it's either team's game right now.
And this is smart from NC State. They're pulling everybody back. They're going to flush out Yanta so they can't give any more information. Bonsgard and Ucklar, I think, is going to see Crawfresh in the distance. Ucklar gets very, very low, trades them down to about half. The Molotov will come out, but a little bit too late. Ucklar can't even stop here to get any heals off. He doesn't even have any to get. He's only got 5 bandages, the 2 HP. He is going to have to live with that for now and hope that maybe, oh no, he gets absolutely roasted. That is not where you wanted to go, Ucklar.
NCSU making that push when they realizing there was just 1 player standing. It was Bonsgard who was trying his best, but it just wasn't enough because NC State University, nasty till the end. 9 kills. So they take victory here in the 2nd game of the evening.
That's what we're talking about. I mean, they were sitting on low kills going into this, but you just knew how, based off of how the circle was playing out, that they were going to end up picking up a bunch here in the end. And that is exactly what happened. 9 kills, 6 of those going to Crawfresh as NCSU, our first place team through the regular season, comes in with a big win here on Sanok. You got to give credit to UCF Black, though. They managed to make that a really close fight there towards the end. They only get 3 kills, but managed to get a nice little stack of placement points for themselves, so they're going to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and as well for Marietta, Trevor Moore racking up some kills in the end, bringing their team up into 3rd as well for this match. I think the zone was maybe just too much for some of these teams. We saw a lot of people wait too long to rotate, get stuck on the mountain, get stuck in the blue. Sandhawk's a much faster paced game, and sometimes those mid circles can catch people off guard. But that said, now we're going into Erangel for games 3 and 4 tonight. So an opportunity for some of the rest of these teams to redeem themselves.
Pull things back a little bit, slow it down a little bit, calm things down, as it were, after leaving here on Sandhawk. But yeah, as you said, I'm excited to see how these last 2 games go. Hopefully everybody has gotten their drop locations sorted out and they've made the proper arrangements so that we won't see any really early game scrapping. You don't want to have these things come down to an RNG fest. So
Yeah.
hopefully they got that worked out.
We'll see if Pachinki is crowded in this next game. So
Yes, we will.
That said, guys, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back with game number 3. All right, guys, we are back with game number 3, and as you can see, we're back now on Erangel. And look at
Clover's
this flight
laughing
path.
at me, chat.
I was laughing at this flight path. I think we both were.
Flight path is garbage. It's
we take
hot
a look at
trash.
You know, this is a hot drop flight path. That's exactly what it is. I think anybody with a northern drop is gonna really struggle to find this here. But Pachinki looks like it might be going to Rochester Institute, as LSU is gonna leave it behind and in the dirt. And Milta, on the other hand, is popping off.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here, but UNCC, Cal, LSU, apparently they did not get it figured out who was going to be going where, and they are all going to drop here. And Butter Me Nasty going to get the first down onto overrated jumps. Can't get the flush just yet, but should get the bleed out. Plowis not even getting involved here. There it goes. And the rest of UNCC not faring any better, as they are completely surrounded by Cal, as we have a big fight popping off right off the jump. Fortunately, it's not going to be a military circle.
No, I mean, we were talking during the break, given this flight path, whether or not it was going to be a military circle, but I think a lot of people may be hesitating for that as well, as we see 3 teams going into military. UNCC doing a lot of damage on the Cal Esports, but they just can't get those knocks. But Mitchie Boy is going to get dead down, and dead as well, I guess you could say, as that is flush. But Cal struggling to get the last player over here, which is Storm DMD, who's trying to work his way towards Pluis, but he's going to have to get through Cal first, as we can see Storm not quite ready to give this building up just yet. But across the street is Magnum.
Storm maybe can work a little, might be able to work a little Tommy gun magic.
And he's still got a hat on. He hasn't even
all
found
Magnum
the
has to do is just look out this window.
And UNCC, Pluis is taking such a long time rotating into this, and this is also going to give LSU enough time to push down onto the street, take their time to loot up, and push this fight when they're ready. Meanwhile, I can see FSU is popping off here on Marietta, as Black Boleto is going to get knocked in flesh. And I think Magnum has spotted UNCC. There you go. Seeing Storm, that big hat sticking out from behind the pillar. There was no missing that. And Pluis, oh yeah, hey guys, finally back to join this fight, but pushing on down. And Butter Me Nasty doing what he does for LSU, which is scouting that next location, breaking apart from the rest of the squad, as I think LSU now looking to move out of Milta as well. This circle is obviously going to be going further north, and these are those teams looking for those early rotations. They want to take the center part of the zone.
Probably a good idea for LSU. I think Butter Me Nasty actually going to be scouting out a little bit here. He's right in between. He has no helmet though. Holy moly! This is that's going to be a sketchy scouting expedition for him. As he's going to have to be careful. But it does look like the rest of LSU is in vehicles. They're already on their way down there. GCU, the other purple team, of course, looting in farm. So we get 2 purple teams right next to each other, as if having 2 UCFs and 2 Florida States wasn't confusing enough. Now we've got Florida State Garnet and Gold are rotating next to each other, next to UCF Black. Where's UCF Gold? Fortunately, they're down south, so we don't have to deal with them just yet.
No, I mean, this was a really interesting season to have multiple teams with multiple schools with multiple teams. And like you said, both Central Florida teams making it in, both Florida State teams making it in. So we have four colleges from Florida, 4 teams from Florida in this season 6 finals. So congratulations to all of those teams. And it is confusing, though. We did force a couple of them to change colors and logos because they've been separated by different lobbies. We wanted to make sure we didn't mess anything up. So Florida State Garnet actually getting the Seminole logo for the finals.
Yeah, and they should be happy with that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Still going to be good representation of their school. And I mean, if you know anything about Florida State, most likely you are familiar with that Seminole head logo. As we see, Plowis has gone to the center of the circle, so UNCC still in it for now, It looks like LSU has found their spot. They're going to go into the compound just south of Yasnaya Fields. Meanwhile, NC State just off to their west. So this could turn out to be some long-range fighting here between two of our regular season top teams.
Yeah, and I mean, one more look at the map, we can see as the rest of the teams start to rotate in. Dakota Wesleyan still all the way out to the west side in vehicles, making ready for the rotations, but Nick is already going north and around Everest. So it looks like they're going to look for a northern push, maybe towards Yasnaya, but have so much water still in the zone on the east and south. I think the teams that are reading this as, Pluis's location really great, as well as I even say shelter in prison. Maybe the instinct would be to go further north on this a little bit longer, but getting too close to Yasnaya, getting too close to Stallber might come to hurt them a little bit later. So there's a lot of open ground to push through.
Oh, Pluis. Oh, Pluis. That's a free kill there. Gribbles had no idea as Florida State Gold tried to send one. They have everybody else at Heaven. Not sure why they would send one to Alamo. That it ends up costing them there. But that would be a weird 3-1 split to hold between to this Heaven compound and Alamo. Usually when you see 2-2 splits, you see Alamo and Warehouse. But unfortunate there, as they're going to lose one for free, essentially, to the solo player.
Yeah, and I mean, the only thing I could really maybe think of is if they needed meds, if they needed resources this late in the phase with that much rotation for them already, there shouldn't be too much that they needed. Maybe just pushing out. Maybe they thought they wanted a Hall of Fame, and Alamo was a good way to get closer and try and scout it out. But either way, Pluis has taken the Alamo, and this will be something that will now hurt FSU. As you said, there's only 3 of them to hold Heaven. And this is a really highly sought-after compound. 3 players might not be enough to hold it for much longer, especially if one of the more aggro teams tries to make that push.
I would think I think they'll probably be okay with 3 for now. I mean that compound, since it does have that high ground and there is so much empty space around it, as long as they can be taking shots at anything that comes near them well before it gets right on top of them, so they should be all right. But that being said, we'll have to see where this next circle decides to go and what teams kind of happen to be around them. We have
looks like McMaster Maroon actually making a crash into Marietta. Bot is going to get found and knocked down right away. Diutati and Trovamoy are actually going to knock up that flush and kill. And here comes the rest of McMaster Maroon and pulling off very quickly. Lemons and Proto realize maybe it's not worth their time from that angle. Stopping to regroup, Oblivion the Ace choosing instead to take shelter. But Sir Lemons is going to have to go wide to rejoin his teammates.
He got taken really low here and actually needs to keep on driving because Jay Good going to take shots as well from Grand Canyon. So McMaster Maroon definitely...
That car is trash.
Yeah. So Sir Lemons might have to make his way over to the rest of the squad by running through shelter. Do have a quick scoreboard update if you're interested.
I would love it. Yes.
Cool. So our second game has posted. You can also find that leaderboard by hitting that exclamation point leaderboard in the chat. But NC State now is in first place with 32 points. DWU in second. Marietta College now in third. GCU in fourth, and Florida State Garnet in fifth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put it up on the screen so everybody watching from home can see a visualization. The winnings are a representation of when we are done with all 16 matches, how that's going to pay out for those top teams. So the teams right now in that current place aren't getting the winnings just yet. It won't be until we have our final 16th match. So, but great play all around. Let's go back, though, to the game screen. We've got a lot of teams making the rotations and a lot of action going on, as it looks like Butter Me Nasty and his scouting mission get a little too close to GCU and down to 38 HPs. He's going to keep on moving on, looking for that next place for LSU to touch down.
Well, this has just been a crazy hard shift to the southeast. I think a lot of these teams weren't really expecting this. As actually, you see, a number of teams are running into each other on this northern side. So many teams were expecting it to go north, and now it's kind of not paying off, as LSU is going to lose one in rotation. They still get 3 through. But you were mentioning earlier that prison compound looking really strong. Nobody around it right now. So that is a spot that we could see somebody try to take here soon. But so much action going here around Shelter.
Yeah, I mean, RET's looking for a safe rotation. We're able to knock one player down for LSU, but now as they're stopping to crash McMaster, Maroon is going to have to share Shelter for a little bit. This looks like Soup, by the way. Iceman and Hershey spotting out Sir Lemons' flaming vehicle. They know that someone's here, but reading the room, I think they're like, you know what? It's now or never. Let's take this push, but making it a little bit careful. It's the way you've got to take it here in Shelter. There's a lot of corners, a lot of close combats, and you can hear people coming. So I don't know if that's a risk they're ready for. I think now that they've kind of dipped in, maybe second guessing this as we start to see them pull back out of Shelter again.
Yeah, I mean, GCU not really giving them a whole lot of options here. I mean, they're still taking shots over in that direction. Jay Good peppering the entrance to Shelter with bullets. Meanwhile, another crash coming in here on the north side, northwestern side here, as 3 teams look like they may all be coming right on top of each other. WPI, DWU, and NC State.
Yeah, and Fry is going to go down, as I think right now Dakota Wesleyan focused on picking him up, holding this compound. Also, if I was them, I'd push in for this. Take out what you can, and then push on as well. Prison is still up for grabs, and WPI, though, relentless. More nades out. Gideon down to 4 HP. Justin was about to throw one to sneak attack, but Dakota Wesleyan found out. That was quick, as WPI is going to pick up those kills, and unfortunately, Dakota Wesleyan falling out there in 16th place, first team eliminated of the game.
That was your second place team too. So that is a big name down here, and WPI needed to have this fight. They needed this win because that is a team that is much stronger than they have been showing so far here today. I feel like we've got a lot of those really actually so far, as the circle will cut hard to the west. And look at this. We have dead center, RIT, and all our Shelter teams essentially.
I mean, you know what? I definitely did it. I was really in my mind hoping that maybe it was going to go a bit towards Prison. I really like it when circles end on that mountainous area just outside of the Prison ridgeline. I think it's a really great way to fight for. But sometimes seeing those circles that touch in and around Shelter can be fun and exciting as well. But it also means that these teams need to be really careful for how they watch this compound, because so much of what goes on in is underground. It makes it harder to defend. Someone could walk up behind you, and you would have to be very, very careful. But as we take another look on the east side, Pluis is still alive. Cal Esports made a couple of walks on him, but managed to survive it all. I think as the rest of the teams continue to rotate, LSU making another wild rotation. They had been all the way into Milta Power, and now they're coming back down into Milta, probably through Farm if I had to take a guess. But as Cal Esports starts to make these wild pushes, we've got a 2-2 split. Magnum and Mitchie Boy found ASU and are looking to sandwich them on both sides.
Yeah, I think Mitchie Boy was probably the first sent in and was able to make it to the sniper tower. He does get some support now from Magnum, but you can see ASU, you can see Polish and Fear to Fork trying to take shots over the top. They're not finding anything, though, just yet. So Arizona State not wanting to push into this hardcore with all 4 because they're worried about getting pushed from behind. But if they get it down here on one of these 2, I got to imagine that they're going to start pushing or push this duo by themselves.
Yeah, I mean, ASU, really healthy position here. They've got the high ground, plenty of coverage, as well as really Mitchie Boy and Magnum pinned down. The vehicles are trash. There's nowhere else to go but out on foot. And if they can keep picking at these resources, we'll have the opportunity to make that push. But it's really going to come down to what Zovran and Kingdom choose to do with this, and whether or not Pluis ruins their day, as he's right behind them.
Yeah, this could be huge for Kingdom and Zovran here, as long as Pluis doesn't screw things up. They've managed to get a perfect flank and a wrap around ASU, and Fear to Fork's going to go down immediately. Polish now realizing what has happened, as it might be too late. I'm not sure. Butt of the toast in these games, I I don't know what they were looking for. Like, what they had to know that somebody was going to be coming out of here, but they just never spotted them. As now ASU is completely taken off guard here by the push from Zovereign and Kingdom. But look at Pluis; he's starting to get a little bit more active.
Yeah, I mean, Pluis really had an opportunity right before Kingdom popped off to get a knock and maybe even flush on both of those players, but he hesitated for just a moment, and that's given Cal a chance to regroup because Michi Boy and Magnum are now back to join the party, and they went from a 2-2 split to a full squad, but Butter popping off is going to get taken down, but Zovereign knocked as well. Pluis is in the game.
There's what you were worried about. Pluis coming out and getting the down and the flush. Polish will make sure that he finishes off Kingdom, but now he's got to be concerned about Pluis as well. As actually, I think ASU is just more concerned about Cal. I don't know if they know where the shots from Pluis came from.
Ooh, there we go. And as he'll slip, I can never say his name. Silup. There we
Polish.
go. Polish.
It's Polish
Is that Polish?
backwards.
Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. There we go, guys.
Fuzzy Seal was the one that told me.
Polish. What a bunch of trolls, guys.
I know.
You just want to make us struggle. But now, as ASU does make that push, it looks like Pluis is going to continue to lie low. He's in the zone. He's playing the edge. But Cal has really put some distance in here. So now Pluis might be ASU's problem from here on out. But back in the zone, it looks like GCU is found in SU. And it's going to be Mississippi State now stacked inside of a wizard tower.
Oh, and you've also got a fight going off on the outside of the circle in the north as WPI and UCF Gold running into each other. Looks like they're trading back and forth. They've gotten Mukau down. Paradox is slowly dying here as the circle is going to chunk him, and he's going to get taken out by Trevomoy from from Marietta, rather, from range here. So UCF Gold, the circle is moving really slowly, so they should be able to get this res here onto Dragon Legend. Meanwhile, Gideon Jura is just kind of out in the middle of nowhere in no man's land here on an island.
Yeah, both Span Cargo and Dragon Legends without any helmet here for UCF Gold, as they've got no choice but to leave those vehicles behind and try and rotate into the zone. It looks like they're aiming for Hall of Fame. Ooh. Gideon out in the open is going to spot out Nomad. Nice hits here. Nomad is struggling here.
Yeah, finding some in Nomad but UCF Gold getting a little bit of a reprieve because Florida State pushed right on top of Marietta at the exact time that they were taking the shots over towards Gold. Looks like they're going to trade out 1-for-1. Trovomoy should get rezzed here by Diatati Mixture, and it's your Wi-Fi, though, still looking for this, as UCF Gold will manage to make it at least to the Hall of Fame before they have to make their way a little bit further in.
Meanwhile, it looks like our boy Pluis is continuing to do more numbers in the kill feed. I can see he knocked down Buttery Nasty, moving into the zone onto LSU, who is also sharing this space with UCF Black and Arizona State. We've got 5 teams here in the Southeast. And this is it's not looking great for some of these squads. Garden is going to push Buttery Nasty to pop off that res. Pluis going back to being quiet, lying low. He's happy with the damage he's doing. He's happy with the knocks, but not overextending himself. Doing a really good job to read this situation so far, as we've got 10 seconds left till that zone closes, and he'll know where he needs to move, but that's also giving UCF Black a chance to push in on LSU.
Yeah, HDB's doing a good job of throwing some grenades to make sure that UCF Black didn't overpush or didn't overcommit to pushing this. They were able to get the res off, and so now LSU back up to 3 strength, as they've already lost 1 from rotation from earlier. But UCF Black playing this very, very carefully. They don't want to push away from the rock just yet. It looks like Bonsgard and Uklar are going to start making their way, wrapping around to the high ground, which is the right play 100%. They just have to be careful about getting spotted from Cal or from Pluis here, as they could get in trouble.
Yeah, Pluis still not making the move just yet. I think he's listening, paying attention to what's going on around, and waiting for the right moment to stop. But Bonsgard with a nice knock onto HDB, and Uklar, I think, waiting for the rest of LSU to show. It is Buttery Nasty and Garden that are continue to, I think, try and push wide, and that push might take them right into Pluis.
This has just been LSU's luck all day. They've been having some horrible early game fights here for a team that was finishing in first for most of the season. They only got passed in the final game of our regular season by NC State. So Garden, you can see, he's starting to make the wrap around. I'm not sure if he knows that Pluis is here though.
Oh,
Pluis has just
about
been
to be
the
sandwiched.
biggest pain in the ass all day long here.
Yanta is actually right next to Pluis as well. Might walk right onto him as Pluis takes this shot here. He's going to get spotted out, actually, instead by Bonsgard. And that's got to be confusing to LSU right now, who just wondered who the heck went down that was shot at as they continue this rotation as well. But Butterby Nasty cut off from Garudin. Meanwhile, the other UFC Gold has been eliminated. So it looks like NCSU popping off.
That was always going to be a difficult push across the street there from that Hall of Fame area for UCF Gold, but
oh, and MSU is actually going to make that push onto GCU as well. So that very southern part of the zone is not done just yet, since it looks like Polish is. Oh, that's a different fight entirely. Excuse me. There's too much going
Lots
on.
Of fighting going
the
on
circles.
Right now.
Look at this map. Everybody on the edge of zone. Everybody fighting and gatekeeping. So if we do miss some of these fights, guys, I do apologize. We're going to try our best to keep up with it as MSU makes a push onto GCU. UCF Black staying a little bit quiet. And back up in the northwest, we've got some more action as well. As McMaster Maroon is separated by, or completely surrounded by, UNCC and RIT. Oh, I don't know. Who do we follow? Who do we fight? There's so much going on.
I'm right now. I'm watching this this GCU MSU fight. MSU needs to be careful. They're very, very clumped here, and although grenades don't do as much damage as they used to, they still do enough. As look at this, Butterby Nasty actually came up from behind and got 2 downs onto UCF here in the distance. Now GCU just pushes in. They get the first down, and that was their signal to go. They're going to find JT&T actually going to be trading one back, and he gets a flush as well. GCU had to pull off for a little bit here, just slightly, as JT&T tries to go for the res. Happy Feet comes over. No, JT&T not giving up on it yet. Gumdrop buttons, though. We'll find that final down, and MSU gets finished out. GCU loses 1, but they pick up 4 kills in the process. Butterby Nasty, meanwhile, I think just wiped the entirety of UCF Black.
He did, in fact, right as I flicked to him, he was going to be able to get that last kill. 2
games in a row that UCF Black has been wiped by a solo player, by the way, just saying.
You know, it was just an unfortunate spread all around. We did have multiple teams in that corner. I think some people got tunnel vision, poked one another. And you know what? LSU, yeah, they did do a big split. Garden went straight up to the north. Butterby Nasty hung around. But these are players who, even on their own, are really good at racking up kills. There's, you know, everybody at LSU has their job, so to speak, but they're all capable of doing just about every aspect. Mitchie Boy, meanwhile, spotting out Jay Good, is going to get the knock and flush. He's been patiently waiting for GCU to finish up and push into the zone, spotting out Butterby Nasty as well. Mitchie Boy trying to make this a little difficult for these teams to rotate is Butterby Nasty might have to go the long way around to not be spotted out, because Mitchie Boy is going to see just about every angle of this southern part of the circle.
Yeah, it should be okay for Butterby Nasty unless Cal decides to really push on this. I mean, it's Butterby Nasty has to try to make a run. He's going to have to throw the smokes out, but if he runs north, he might be able to reconnect with Garrett in here, but nope, never mind. Mitchie's not missing those. The headshots, big time plays coming out from a big time player, as Cal now up to 9 kills. And they've been sitting on this duo for quite some time here, so they've been active early and often.
Yeah, we haven't really, you know, seen, I guess I'd say a game where they haven't gone for kills, a game where they haven't really been at. Mitchie Boy, I think, even had one night where he got 28. So hoping to replicate that, I'm sure, sometime during this finals, but at least for right now, Cal Esports is going to have to, I think, take out a couple more players before they can push from this compound, as Mitchie Boy waiting for gumdrops. And now RIT is starting to make a push. Few seconds left of this phase, and we'll see where the zone takes us. And all these teams on the edge are going to have to move to the east.
Once again, I don't understand how they get away with this every single game, it seems like. But NC State still have 4 up. They've got 6 kills already. They're going to get the down onto Rubies. Iceman should get res, but he gets the down onto Regimes, but they're going to try to trade it back. I mean, NC State, they managed to keep 4 up for so long in this game, and no! Winlow going to go down as well. Iceman making a big hold here, but good shot from Crawfresh. Soup, by the way, might be able to find something, but I think he's been spotted.
Yeah, as NCSU popping off the last of these reds is Soup, by the way, with the M249. He's got plenty of ammo. He can just spray into the smoke, but he's going to get found out by Crawfresh, and that's it for Rochester's. They go out in 6th place, and NCSU not losing a single player. They are going to get Winlow up and stay 4-man strong, but here comes Gumdrops, who's just casually waiting for the smokes to dissipate.
Yeah, I don't think anybody spot him. K-Pat's going to go down. Regimes will take the shots back. Crawfresh will get it, but K-Pat, I don't know if they'll be able they can't get this
is
res.
phase 7. There's just no time. Maybe we cast or cursed it, but NCSU is finally going to be losing a player as K-Pat will die out to the zone. Gumdrops getting credit for that kill, and meanwhile, Mitchie Boy spotted out as well by Garuden. Only Magnum still up for Cal Esports.
Yep, and you still have the duo of Dia Diatati and Trevamois. I'm not sure if it's Trevamois or Trevamois, but I'm going to say Trevamois because it sounds more French and therefore more foreign and exotic.
I like that. There we go.
Yeah. So looks like Magnum's going to leave Garden there by himself for now, realizing he is the solo player, but he's going to be in trouble here really shortly as NCSU is just doing the wrapping around, seeing who they can spot out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really great way to comb what's left of the high ground, take it away from Magnum, and also be ready for that Phase 8 circle. As we know, the middle of Phase 9 is going to be in the middle of Phase 8's zone. So as the circle pulls away from Garuden and Magnum, they are going to have to make a move, and that means that he's going to get spotted out here by NCSU. It's Magnum lying prone. I mean, they know where he is. There's nowhere left to go. You stand up, you run the risk of getting shot, you crawl away, you're going to get shot. He's just going to have to wait till they walk up on him and take them out.
Yeah, they know. You could see NCSU knows somebody's up here, but they just don't know where, and they don't want to take the risk of getting downed and flushed. So Regime's going to pull off of this completely and go support Winlow, who has gotten vision, I believe, on the Marietta. Meanwhile, Crawfresh is just going to stay here for now and see if he can basically play chicken with Magnum to see who is going to get up first and make that run. And Magnum, I think, figuring out what's going on here, might be going down a little bit lower. But
Crawfresh is making the stand, seeing if he can spot out Magnum. Magnum, though, pulling back towards Garden, but Garden now distracted by Marietta. Oh, taken out by Marietta's Diatati, racking up another kill, and we're down to our top 3 teams.
Good shooting by Diatati. They're up to 7 kills, 5 already in his pocket. That's 2 back-to-back games. Well, I guess on Miramar and Erangel, back-to-back games for Diatati with 5 kills. He was the one who got the 1v4 onto UCF Black in game number 1. As Butterby Nasty repeating his feat here in game number 3. You got to be careful, like what Marietta's positioning is here, but they have no real information on where NC State is, where they could be. All they know is that they're on the south side of this circle.
Yeah, and as you know, Marietta continues to try to hold the south ground. We see now Phase 9 is here. We've got 2 minutes and 40 seconds for everybody to get to the center of the zone. NCSU has the best position here. Magnum is still playing chicken with Regimes and has been spotted out. Regimes is going to take him out, and that's it for Cal Esports going out in 3rd. That's going to be the dinner bell as Marietta makes the push.
Yeah, and I like the way they're pushing this. Diatati and Trevamois taking 2 wide splits here, trying to see if they can get a pincer onto the remaining 3 of NCSU, but Crawfresh will spot out Diatati. Winlow, now it's just a matter of time when, and he's going to find Trevamois. 13 kill, back-to-back win for NC State.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it so many times tonight. NC State might start off a little bit slow. They might take some rotations that you and I scratch our heads at, but it always pays out in the end, and they always seem to be one step ahead of the game as they now take their second victory of the night. I do believe in.
Yep.
I mean, NCSU is off to a great start here in day one. Game number 3. There's only 16 games to play. Every game is going to matter, and the rest of these teams need to make sure that they push NC State hard. You can't let them get as far ahead as they did on the leaderboard this season. So we still got one more Erangel match left, though, and maybe we won't have such a trash flight path. We'll see.
One can only hope. The circle itself wasn't that terrible. Fortunately, no military circle, so it was a good figure Erangel circle just on the eastern side of the island. But once again, man, I can't speak enough to NC State's ability to keep 4 players up into the late game. And then once they get there, it's like they all have this collective switch inside their head that they flip, and it's like, okay, now we can start being hyper aggressive. We start pushing everything. We start racking up kills from this point forward, because we know that we're most likely going to be favored in any of those fights because we still have all 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, one more chance, of course, for NC State to maybe pick up the hat trick, or one of the other 15 teams to take a victory, maybe someone who hasn't gotten one tonight. Erangel, of course, offering a variety of opportunities with the plane path, something that we maybe will take a northern one and switch things up for some of the drops for these squads. That said, guys, we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be back with one more game this evening. We'll see you guys in just a sec. All right, guys, and we are back with game number 4, our 4th and final game of this evening, but there are 12 more left to go for the season. We'll return again on Thursday, and then 2 more days next week as well. And then we'll have the winner of our season 6, I can go, finale here. And Porosaurus joining me again, and we've already got action going on in the middle of the circle,
dear.
as it looks like Rico Rodriguez is going to take out Happy Feet in a battle for a vehicle. I think Swagnar LOL is a little angry at that, but Marietta's going to get away with it.
That sucks. I mean, you always hate to see these planes that drop and you're basically fighting for the same vehicle with somebody else, and then somebody just ends up getting to it just a little bit before you did. You know, you think you have the right line on your parachute, and it just works out that way. And unfortunately for GCU, they're going to lose one early. We also have updated scoreboards, so there's that.
Ooh.
If you want to bring those up real quick before we see that our circle has gone far hard to the west. We're going to have a Gatka. Looks like Gatka Fields, roughly the center of circle number 1. But here are your leaderboards.
Yeah, I mean, really great, as you can see, displayed by NC State University tonight. 30 kills, 30 points. Placement points 25 for a total score of 55 points. Marietta, who just racked up the first kill of the game as well, in second place with 33 points. 22 of those are kills. So placement points help, guys, but kills are what's really going to help you out in this final.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a number of teams in here that have been having rough days so far, but you got to be worried about NC State, man. They are just they're kind of running away with this thing early, and you know nobody likes to have to play from behind for the rest of the tournament, but you know that's the situation that a lot of these teams are finding themselves in after one bad day. You still have 3 days that you can turn it around, right? Mm-hmm. But it's still just rough having to play from that far behind that early.
Now, I mean, no team right now is on the board with absolutely no kills. We have a handful of teams with 4 kills. That's the least, followed by Rochester with 6, Arizona State with 7, WPI with 9, UCF Black with 6 points. So 4 points tied for last place for the last 3 teams. That's Mississippi State, UCF Gold, and UNCC. Rochester Institute in 13th with 8 points. Arizona State with 9 points. But, you know, all the way up until 6th place, 5th place, really one good game would be enough to take anybody at the very bottom of the leaderboard and put them back up into that top 3. So no team should get discouraged. All it takes is one really good game and you're able to get back to the top. But you know, regimes meanwhile with LSU, NCSU's got the split, and it looks like Butter Me Nasty might have flipped his UAS. This could either help or hurt NC State University if Regimes takes to take this fight to Butter Me Nasty or not.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. Somebody must have taken shots at this because I kind of otherwise I can't understand why the smokes would have been popped here for Butter Me Nasty. So yeah, it looks like K-Pad actually is going to be taking the long range shots over here at Butter Me Nasty. The rest of LSU trying to get in a position where they can return fire. It looks like Garden trying to get in a position to where he can maybe force him to peek back, but Butter Me Nasty in a little bit of trouble here early on.
Yeah, Butter Me Nasty, I think, deciding that the safest place now is to push a little bit closer to Regimes combo, but he's actually lying prone, open to Regimes. I don't think he realizes Regimes is here, and this might be the perfect opportunity. But right now, he's distracted by Beast and Garden, who are making a wider rotation, and this is just absolute luck right now for Butter Me Nasty, who has not been spotted.
I feel like they know that somebody's in here. Because otherwise, why would Butter Me Nasty run the other direction instead of running up this hill into this compound? But the rest of LSU is leaving him, so maybe they don't know. Maybe they have no idea that he's here. But Butter Me Nasty basically has been left to kind of fight for himself here. The rest of LSU is just gone. They ditched him.
And as we see more teams rotate right past, I think, oh no, he's got to know. I mean. He does things where knows. I think that, like, you know, you're open, you're lying prone, you're completely in view, but luckily not spotted.
He knows. Yeah, they 100% know somebody's in there. I think they might have spotted the US. They may have gotten shot at from behind, but basically they said, look, we got to leave. But I mean, Nasty, there's a vehicle in there. If you can get it out and get back to us, if you can win the fight here 1v1, then great. If not, we'll see you back there. Oh,
oh no, that's a failed nade.
Feels bad.
But unfortunately, it looks like for Regimes and Butterby Nasty, one or two of these players is really, I don't know. I mean, I wanna say my instinct is saying that really Butterby Nasty's got the strongest position. Regimes is really split off from the rest of his teammates, or on the other side of the water. Even though Butterby Nasty's been left behind, he does have a vehicle. If he just wants to take it, more and more teams continue to rotate past this position. So it's better to do it sooner than later.
He keeps trying to bait him out by getting in the vehicle, hopping in, and pretending like he's going to leave. But the thing is, Butterby Nasty taking a little bit too long with this, because now look, the rest of NCSU is coming.
Yeah, and you gotta know when to quit. Butterby Nasty is no stranger to breaking off from his team. Usually he breaks off ahead to scout. This time he's staying behind, and that's a little more unusual for him. It worked well in that previous Erangel game, able to get that wipe onto UCF Black, but with NC State to start, it's gonna hurt. And here comes K-Pat now, spotting out Butterby Nasty, taking shots. The rest of NCSU is here to party. Butterby Nasty has left the vehicle behind, and he's gonna have to go through all of NCSU to get out of this alive.
I feel like if he had any other vehicle, Regimes just was sitting there in the perfect spot. There's not a lot Butterby Nasty could do there. I feel like if he had any other gun than the M16, he probably would have felt better about pitching that early. Or a little bit more aggressively.
Any type of auto, semi-auto, something would have been great for that close range pre-fire push. Something that wasn't a burst gun here, but you also had an opportunity to take the car and just leave. But we know that that's not always, you want that kill. It's hard to let go of that when you know somebody's right here.
It would have been difficult for him to get. I mean, it definitely would have been a 50-50, like a coin toss, if he could have gotten that vehicle, that US out. I mean, the other option he could have had is maybe to just keep doing what he was doing, which was like hopping in, creeping it back a little, hopping out, hopping in, creeping it back a little, hopping out, and just until he got into a spot where he could just get in and just gun it. But that's here or there. I mean, I think he did what he could do with what he had. The rest of LSU gets a nice little spot here on cube, and they might actually be able to do an amount of revenge here on NC State if they decide to push across this bridge. K-Pat looks like he might be interested.
Yeah, NC State is a little bit late to this rotation, and that means it's push LSU or do they push Dakota Wesleyan? K-Pat's going to get across first, and that's going to alert the rest of NCSU that somebody is here and waiting for him. Little Penguin getting spotted out as well, as he's going to take some damage from the drive-by for K-Pat. But the rest of NCSU is going to move on, and that means that their next rotation is going to take them into Dakota Wesleyan or even Mississippi State.
Yeah, Penguin not able to land any of those AK shots into K-Pat. Unfortunately for them. Oh, RIT actually getting roasted there by McMaster Maroon. Not sure what happened there, as they were in a compound where nobody else was.
It looks like McMaster maybe with a crash. Oblivion is going to get picked up by Sir Lemons, but from distance, Cal now taking shots towards bot, as McMaster might not be able to stay here for much longer, but racking up 5 kills, 4 from this fight.
Looking good for McMaster. They only lose 1 in the process there. They're also getting shot from range here by Florida State, but that's more just kind of probing shots to see if they can maybe find anything. Cal also sending some over in that direction as well. Looks like everybody has made their way into the circle so far, with the exception of UCF Black, who has been I'm assuming that they went over to military and then boated over to Primorsk, but they're finally coming in from the south side here.
Yeah, and with vehicles on hand, it should be an easy rotation for them. And they're coming into the zone where there's less crowding, so hopefully finding a nice spot to push in to call home. But who is coming late is going to be McQuinty, who's actually struggled a bit tonight. Crashed out of a fight a little earlier. Late to join the rest of WPI. That said, I mean, with this zone, it's hard to tell. We've got so many pink and purple maroon teams right next to each other to see where they start and end. McQuinty has been found out by GCU, but driving right next to DeKalb. So, oof. Oh, this is not the place to roll a car.
Oh,
right
dear.
in front of Cal.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Oh.
And, of course, it stops on its side. Never mind. He got it.
PUBG physics. We've got this. Quinty is
You
going to
just
survive,
have to
but
wait.
look at this, driving right next to Kingdom Plays. Magnum as well as Cowling Sports has an opportunity to ruin McQuinty's game after just getting out of that vehicle rollover. That car is on fire.
Oh, ding, 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 ding. You can see it kind of going down there.
Oh,
Got that
leaving
just in time.
just right in time, but right next to UNCC now. I mean, McQuinty can't seem to escape this now. It's being found out by Cal from distance. And UNCC now looking in this direction, wondering what somebody's shooting at.
Florida State. Florida State taking shots as well. Gribbles is going to land one into him. Gribbles going to land two.
Oh, 3
McQuinty.
HP.
Oh,
There he goes. Mitchie boy with the knock. And I think we'll get that flush as well. Not stolen. Meanwhile, UCF running over one of their own as Bonsgard takes down Yanta.
I hate to see it. New circle has popped, and we're going to go off to the northeast. Looks like we'll just be east of Everest. You've got, we've already got one team on top of Everest, Dakota Wesleyan, our game one winners, in a nice little spot here. Looks like Mississippi State, UCF Black, WPI, and NC State are all going to have to move in, as well as Marietta. Marietta actually moving right into NC. Who is that? That's UNCC. So this could get pretty spicy here pretty quickly. As I don't even know if they know that Dia Diatati is here. UNCC got to this position a little bit late.
Ooh, and
oh no,
Diu
Dead
is waiting for him. Here comes Dead. He's gonna get knocked, taken out by Diatati, and I think UNCC scratching their heads now, wondering what the heck was that. Pluis is gonna be the closest here, as they did do a 2-2 combo, but Pluis now making that move, as it looks like the rest of UNCC taking shots onto Marietta will get some damage, and that's gonna drive them right into Pluis as he gets revenge for his teammate, taking down Diatati. With Marietta kind of pushed away from this. Dia's teammate needs to make a push to get that res, but that nade is going to get Diatati down low.
And he will get flushed out. And look at this, Florida State Gold actually going to be transitioning right here past Trovomois and Rico Rodriguez. Trovomois going to have to take a few shots at them to force them off his position. Ooh. But they still have to make their way inside circle here. I'm not sure what the plan is going to be for Marietta now that they know that the compounds that are inside circle here are occupied by UNCC.
Yeah, it looks like Trevor Ball and Rico are struggling to come up with the plan as well. I think following suit, going straight to pick up Black, who doesn't have a vehicle, running up for the pickup. But then where do they go from here? Do they follow suit with Florida State? Do they rotate back around? It looks like they're going to take a chance going east of Chopsticks. That's going to really open themselves up to UNCC's. Able to get a little bit of damage onto that car, but Marietta escaping, at least for now.
Yeah, and Cal going to take their pound of flesh as well. As you can see, Magnum and Kingdom Plays taking a few shots over in that direction. Meanwhile, it looks like FSU Gold has managed to find their way into a compound just on the edge of the circle under the watchful eyes of UCF Black. And meanwhile, oh my gosh, there's a big fight going on top of Everest.
There we go. And yeah, Arizona State starting to make that push, as well as WPI, Mississippi State, all here for Dakota Wesleyan. But I mean, I don't understand why at the same time, because this was already on the edge of the zone going into phase 4. And now we've seen all these teams make this push, trying to take out Dakota Wesleyan, but I mean, the zone is so far now from Everest. It's across the street. This is going to be wasted time and resources from these teams that are just starting to make that push. But WPI Gideon, nice play there, taking it out. Nick from Dakota Wesley. This is the last player here for WPI.
Yeah, Gideon Jura makes some solo plays here from time to time that just are astounding. He's going to find another one as DWU not giving enough credit to Gideon Jura. And look at this. Now they're getting pushed from MSU. They still have Gideon to worry about. Sneak Attack is fully involved in a fight. Fry is going to have to trade it out, and he'll finally get down Gideon Jura, but not before Prodigal Knight has come up over the top. He's going to have to actually dip off of this because he's getting shot at from range here by Florida State.
Fry taking a pause to pick up Matt Starrett. It's phase 4. 2 minutes until the zone closes entirely. DWU needs to work through all the teams on Everest, get down the mountain, across the street, and into that next phase because it is going to hurt. It is phase 4, and from here on out, there's no more chances on reses once you fall into the blue zone. That said, Prodigal is going to push down, has been spotted out by Sneak Attack, but he's not going to let that stop him as... switching to that M24, looking maybe for that last chance at a headshot here, but Sneak Attack falling behind the rest of Dakota Wesleyan. He needs to start moving down the mountain.
And Prodigal Knight is all by himself here for Mississippi State. He is the last player remaining alive. I'm not sure where else he can go. He knows that Florida State Garnet had him in their sights. He also knows that Dakota Wesleyan
might be going for that
finishing
dossier
him off as well.
He's got 3 first aids left, 14 bandages, and he's going to go for the car. It is burnt out. There's no hope here. Running right up to it, realizing that was a mistake. That dip in the blue is going to cost him as Dakota Wesleyan able to push in, but he said Florida State, Mixter, Mellow Panda right here by Sneak Attack. I don't think they realize how close they are to Dakota.
Yeah, they're taking shots at range, but now they're going to find him. But Sneak Attack will lose the 1v1. Mixter will win that, actually with some support. Actually, bot from McMaster Maroon was going to be the one that gets the down. Florida State gets the flush as McMaster now turning their full attention towards FSU.
And now here comes NC State as well. 2 kills only so far. We're at phase 4. But K-Pat breaking ahead, walking right up onto Dakota Wesleyan, taking the sights, looking at Florida State. So an opportunity here for NCSU to start their pop-off and mow down the remaining teams as the bullets are going to fly. And there goes UCF Gold. Crawfresh with the kill. Mixter with the knock as well. And we started at 2. Let's see where NCSU ends on this. Dakota Wesleyan now lying low behind the ridge, hoping to not get spotted out by K-Pat and Crawfresh.
Florida State Garnet maybe committing a little bit too hard to trying to spot out DWU there. They end up losing 3 to the zone, essentially, as they were getting absolutely destroyed there by the blue. You can see Mellow Panda now the last one up, but McMaster Maroon knows exactly where he is. NC State still have 4 up, and they know exactly where DWU is. I guess K-Pat not having any... He's got 1 frag grenade. He's going to be taking some long-range shots at Mellow Panda. But I don't know, do they know that DWU is right here?
You know, I really feel like they don't. They've been looking over DWU, but DWU waiting to the last moment. Matt Starrett standing up, taking some shots at Regimes. He will find that knock, but Fry has been found and flushed, as well as Matt Starrett lying pro. It is phase 5. He's just going to crawl into the zone, but it doesn't matter because he is going to fall. It is actually going to be Cal that takes the kill, Zofran. But unfortunately, NCSU leaving 2 players in this, as everybody's now shooting in this direction. They are open. Zofran taking down K-Pat as well. At range, Cal Esports is really going to hurt a lot of squads.
And that's bad news for NC State. You know, we talked so much about how they were so good at keeping 4 alive and getting 4 into the late game. And here we go, NCSU down to just Winlow, and he's trying to crash right into Florida State Gold as Daddy Rob and Gribbles are just sitting there waiting. And there goes NC State.
Well, we're not going to get the hat trick tonight, but as you can see, there's so many squads in this corner. ASU, UCF. Oh no.
Fear to Fork came up out of nowhere and took UCF Black by surprise here. Yanta, the only one remaining alive here, as FSU Gold has been holding the ridgeline under the watchful eyes of Cal as well. Magnum trying to take shots over here. Fear to Fork will go ahead and flush that kill onto Uklar. OG just bleeding out here. Yanta not sure really where to put his attention.
Yeah, I think Yanta realizing now that he just doesn't have the opportunity to take out Fear to Fork, making that push onto Florida State. Gold will get Gribbles, and Daddy Rob is the last of Yanta's worries in that direction. He just needs to be mindful of Fear to Fork as he starts to make that push, looking for that final flush onto Ogie, spotting out Yanta. And that's it for UCF Black.
Fear to Fork is going off right now. That's 3 kills that he's picked up just off of these 1v1s, are really just kind of playing as the solo for ASU coming out of this chopsticks area. You still have Cal 4 strong. They're turning their attention towards UNCC, who is working through the other chopstick area. Pluis going to get taken super low. Very close there.
Down to 1 HP, able to pop off that first aid kit. It's going to be his last, down to just 6 bandages and no helmet. Every peek here is hurting, and UNCC struggling to get out from inside chopsticks. That's the hard part about playing this compound. There's plenty of coverage, but when it's time to leave, are you able to do so safely? And that's something that UNCC is really struggling with right now. That said, I mean, great setup here by Cal. They've got a perfect position in the zone. 4-man strong, but also 4-man strong is McMaster Maroon up to the north. They've got vehicles in play still as well.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see where McMaster Maroon decides to go and how they decide to do it. They've got 2 inside of vehicles right now. They've left Frodo and Oblivion the Ace up top. So I'm not sure. It looks like they're just going to get barely inside the zone here, but they're going to get shot at from multiple directions here as Cal and LSU going to be taking their shot. LSU 3 strong, quietly making their way in from this northern side. They haven't really been doing much so far this game, but they're coming alive now.
Yeah, Bot and Lemons both going down. LSU's going to pick up both kills. I'm not quite sure what the setup was there. I think maybe looking for a vehicle, in the field setup, but it was just so open from every angle. There was nowhere to walk away from the vehicle. Had it exploded, it would have taken him out. I think maybe it was just a failed attempt there at McMaster Maroon, who's now just down to Frodo and Oblivion. They are on the edge of zone, but they're going to have to be careful to push in from here, as LSU also has to make that similar play pushing into Cal. I think everybody's hope right now is that Cal, who's looking pretty in that zone, just gets distracted by another squad.
Yeah, and Zovering going to spart out Garadin, and he's going to go down. I'm trying to figure out how Fear to Fork got all the way across the chopsticks and UNCC didn't see him.
I need to know that as well. Arizona State, if you guys are listening, could somebody send us their in-game replay and let us know how Fear to Fork managed to pull that one off? But he is still in this game. Swagnar LOL also way off to the east, as Fear to Fork has the ability to maybe get in unnoticed if he could just lie low out of line of sight from Cal a little bit longer. UNCC is really, I think, going to be in a lot of trouble, though, if they don't play this smart.
Cal is just picking people off here to pieces from range. As Magnum's going to find another one. Little Penguin gets spotted out by Zovrin. I mean, this is just, it's just a death by a million cuts here coming out of Cal, and they are loving every second of it. As HD Beast looks like he'll be the last one up for LSU. He was just getting shot at a minute ago, but he is inside this circle, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah, he's got the opportunity to lie low a little bit longer, see where Phase 8 takes him. No use trying to crawl out of safety yet if the circle's going to favor you. There's so much open area into play, but Fear to Fork back down south. Earlier, it looks like UNCC was starting to make a look in this direction. Smokes are thrown. It looks like this is where they're hoping to make that rotation out. Fear to Fork will be waiting for them if Cal can't take them out first. Neither squad in zone, and we're starting to see Cal push out of their compound. Most of it is not into that next phase. But with so much movement down south, I think this is the smart play here.
Swagnar does get spotted out. He's going to go down. That's 10 kills for Cal so far. And
11.
11 kills. They're just racking them up right now. As Fear to Fork doesn't even have to get involved.
No, Cal is just picking them apart one at a time. Mitchie boy, Magnum picking up the last of the kills. Fear to Fork finally making that move. I think Cal might be a little bit confused now as to wonder how is there one extra player up. They saw that final kill message. The Fear to Fork being spotted is going to lie down prone in the blue, stopping to pop that
Just
first
give it
aid,
up.
but it's phase 7. Don't give them the kill. Just survive as long as you can. There's 2 teams left alive. Arizona's going to take third, so at the very least, Fear to Fork getting some nice placement points for his squad.
Yeah, and Cal knows exactly where HD Beast is here for LSU. It's just a matter of time before they end up pushing on top of him. I'm not sure if he's got any more smokes in the pocket. No, just the one. If he had a few more, he might be able to make something happen here. You never can tell whenever things start getting a little spooky. I believe they know exactly who it is, too. You can see they're going to be trying to push this out.
Oh,
the horns are honking.
Here we
they
go.
Want to run them over.
You know, I mean, these are 2 teams that have a lot of fun with each other, both on and off the field, as HD Beast is going to just give himself up to Magnum. And Cal Esports, 15 kills and a well-deserved victory here in the 4th and final game of our evening, with day 1 down and in the books.
Man, oh man. I mean, everything that could happen that you'd want to happen if you're Cal happened in that game. Like, they managed to make a nice, smooth early transition. I mean, if people were just crashing into their compound, feeding them over kills, and then at the end, they were just able to sit back, stand on top of buildings, and just nobody shooting back at them. They just got to stand and scan the horizon, spot out everybody with very minimal threat coming back their way. So, you know, good final game there for Cal. And it's also good to see LSU finally making their way back up there into the top 5. Only 4 kills, but, you know, it's still kind of a trend in the right direction as we finish here on day 1.
I definitely agree. I mean, this has been a really good show of our top talent, the top 16 teams from this season. We've seen a lot of high kills, a lot of great plays. Really a good spread all around. I mean, before we had 2 different lobbies. We had Lobby A, we had Lobby B. We had a really aggressive front-running squads at each of these teams. And now that they're together in a shared lobby, this is an opportunity to see how well they really do with one another. And so far, I mean, I'm leaning towards some favorites, but there's still a really great possibility for any and every one of these teams to take it.
Yeah, we still have 12 games left to play. So, you know, only 4 in the book so far. Obviously, NC State has jumped out to a fantastic lead. I don't think Cal's going to catch them off of this. They had 22 points going in. They just pick up 19. They pick up 25. So they're going to have 47-ish. Yeah, they won't catch up to NC State just yet. But, you know, we do have kind of that clump of teams that all did really well here today, and, you know, kind of separating themselves a little bit from the pack. So we'll have to see when we get back here on Thursday if any of these teams will cool off or if maybe somebody else might heat up.
I mean, just taking a quick look at the CGS that I'm seeing for my numbers, I don't quite have everything up through game 4 just yet, but up into game 3, our top fraggers, most damage, longest survivor, that was coming from Crawfresh and Regimes. So we've really Forrest Gump trophy Crawfish, who walked the most, did the most damage, got the most kills, and that was just up through game 3. So we've really a lot to show from these squads. Even taking a hit like this game, going out in 9th place for the 4th match is not going to be enough to really hinder them here. So just kind of wait. We're going to wait a little bit longer and see if we can get those scores up for game 4 before we go offline, so you guys can see where the leaderboard sits for tonight. You know, that said, wonderful plays all around by a lot of these teams. Cal really, I mean, they have bad games, and then they have games where they're on, they're clicked. You can just see the communication. You can see them watching those movements, predicting the zone, finding that nice compound to sit at, and it just really paid off for them well in this last game.
Yeah, I mean, watching Cal over the season, I mean, this is going to seem like a super obvious statement, but trust me, it's not. they when things are going their way, when they get the good circles, stuff like that, they tend to have these games where they just go off, where they feast. It's the times when the circle isn't going their way, when they have to make, when it hard shifts away from them, when they have to make late game rotations and late game transition decisions. That's when it seems like they slip up a little bit. So this one obviously going in their favor. They just got to kind of sit there and just do what they do best, which is frag. And they weren't put in a position where they had to make any late game or late mid game decisions.
Mm-hmm. And really holding on to all of their squad up until the end really, really helped for them as well that game. There's nothing, I think, sometimes more jarring to a plan than losing a player early or maybe in the middle of what you think is an easy rotation, just suddenly losing somebody. We've seen that really throw a lot of teams off guard tonight. And, especially for some of these top teams as well, losing a couple players early on, falling apart. But really, now that I'm starting to see the CGS, you were correct. Cal Esports sitting at second with 47 points. Marietta still holding on to the top three, falling down to third place from their second place position with 36 points. But NC State University were able to pick off 5 for this game. That's going to sit them at first place with 60 points. So let me see if I can get the GLL leaderboard updated so that everybody from home can see it on the screen. I'm going to refresh it one more time. I think we're just a little bit quicker than the admins are, guys. So thanks for bearing with us.
How dare we be quicker than the admins?
It's 2020. I want everything, and I want it right now.
I tell you what, Marietta has been really impressive to me here on day number 1. They haven't won any games, but they got that third place. They got a second place. Just they've been getting a bunch of kills, a bunch of points, and I gotta feel like Diatati has just been a hero for his squad so far by being able to pick up just a stack of kills and really kind of keeping that team up in the conversation for the top spot despite their not having any wins so far today.
And also I'm going to give credit to Rico because I've seen a lot of really great plays out of Rico this evening from Marietta as well. So really kudos to them. I did finally hear from the admins. They're working on getting that leaderboard up for us right now, guys. So hold on just a little bit longer. We'll get that on the screen before we go off the air. But, that said, another team that I also really enjoyed seeing tonight was UNCC. I know they weren't really a high kill team this game, but they were able to get out of a lot of sticky situations. Pluis, especially last game, that game 3 on Erangel, where he managed to stay alive on the eastern edge of zone, picking off players from multiple teams. He picked up a lot of damage, struggled to get some finishes out of that play, but I think if UNCC can just turn up the dial a little bit, they really stand the opportunity to climb on this leaderboard as well.
Well, they've got some climbing to do. Going into that final game, I think they were in last place. So, but that just goes to show the strength of the lobby. Even our last place team is having moments where it looks like things can go their way, and it's just 50-50 as to whether or not they do. So things just not falling on the side of UNCC today. Things not really falling the way of Rochester either. RIT, I think, was a dark horse for a lot of people coming into this. They have been looking really, really strong at points this season, off the back of really Ruby's has looked super strong. Soup and Iceman and Hershey have all had different moments where they've looked really strong as well. So not really a great first day for them, but would not be surprised at all to see them turn things around here on Thursday for day number 2.
Yes. Now, we do have the leaderboard screen. The GLL website is finally updated, so everybody at home can see our leaderboard. And as you guys can see as well, in first place, NC State University with 35 kills, 60 points. So a lot of that is placement. They did take home 2 victories tonight. But Cal Esports with the win as well, 31 kills, 47 points. So closing the gap, if those teams that can continue to get kills, even without placements, is going to work in their favor. Marietta in third place with 36 26 points, 25 of that is kills. A little bit further down, GCU in 4th, McMaster Maroon in 5th, Dakota Wesleyan in 6th, Louisiana State University in 7th, 8th place is Florida State Garnet, 9th is Arizona State, UCF Black in 10th, 11th Florida State Gold, 12th is Worcester Polytechnic, 13th is Rochester Institute, 14th UNCC, 15th Mississippi, and in 16th UCF Gold. So opportunities for a lot of these teams near the bottom, maybe just having an off day. We've got 3 more days of the finals left to give them a chance to climb. But yeah, NC State, who was the winner of our regular season, the top of the leaderboard, now sitting at the top yet again after day 1 of the finals. So a lot of these teams are going to have to go back, do their homework, and come prepared for Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't be surprised to see NC State up at the top there at this point. I mean, we're used to seeing them at the top of the leaderboard for sure. But some of these teams that may not have had the best day here on day number 1 can just go home, re-rack, think about things over the week, maybe get a little bit more practice time in, come back on Thursday feeling way strong. I definitely expect to see some teams pop off next week that we did not see go as hard today.
I agree. Well, guys, that is it for us tonight as the night comes to a close. 4 games down, 12 to go. And we'll see who ends up being the winner of our Season 6 leaderboard. I'm your host, Clover, joined tonight by Porosaurus. Stick around, and we'll be back again on Thursday, same time, with more PUBG Esports. Have a good night.
See ya.